Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Opinion Leaders. And this is the first episode that we are having of its kind. And since it is the Christmas season already, our title is A Gift of Giving. And with me now is a very special guest, Mr. Charlie Aiko, the Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of Habitat for Humanity Philippines. Good evening, Sir Charlie.
Good evening, William. Just call me Charlie.
Okay. Charlie, before we start, can you tell us a little bit about Habitat for Humanity?
Okay. Habitat for Humanity was founded in 1976. It's now operating in 80 countries throughout the world. We are an international non-profit organization, and we are also a Christian organization. Our mission is to totally eliminate poverty housing from the face of the earth. Now,
wow,
that is a very tall
Yes.
mission, yeah? But it has been done.
Okay.
For example, Singapore,
Yes.
they have eliminated poverty housing. But consider that out of the 7 billion people in this world, there are still around 1.2 billion who are homeless.
I know.
In
It's very sad. And the Philippines being a third world developing nation, we actually need this type.
Exactly.
Housing is one of the most housing, food, healthcare, education. This is really integral in any society.
In fact, housing is a basic human right.
Right.
And it's a basic need: food, clothing, shelter. Okay. And in the Philippines, we still have a backlog of, it depends on the figures, but it's between 3.7 to 4 million families without houses.
Yes.
And that is increasing by around 250,000 a year.
Yes, because of our population is going up.
Yes. And then we also have urbanization, and that's true not only in the Philippines, but all over.
Okay.
And so here in Habitat, we made a campaign.
Okay.
As we approach our 25th year in the Philippines, we call it the I-Bill.
Okay, sir.
Where we are trying to invite people to be part of Habitat, to be part of the solution to the housing problem. And I think this is very timely, especially that we are approaching the Christmas season.
That's true.
Because Habitat is all about sharing. And we always say that in Habitat, the poor don't actually need, what they need more is opportunity.
Yes. Sir.
Because that is what the formal system is not providing to them. And so that opportunity could be a decent house in which is affordable to them. And so we feel that everybody, not a single government or not a single entity, would be strong enough to solve this problem. Because if it can be done by a single entity, then that problem should have been gone years ago.
It would have been done a long time ago.
Yes,
But then, of course, it's wonderful for organizations like yours to see the problem and to really try to find a solution to it.
Yes, and we say we are part of those organizations which try to offer solutions to the housing problem.
Okay. So, sir, how bad is the situation right now? We talked about our population, of course, especially in areas like many people from the provinces are all flocking to Metro Manila looking for jobs.
Yes.
A lot of them are dismayed because they cannot find those jobs, and instead of going back to the provinces, they still stay here. So we're overpopulated in different areas, right?
Yes.
So how do we plan this out, and what is the solution that we can offer them?
A very important way to approach it is what we call a community-led approach.
Okay.
In doing an urban renewal and development. We are so used to looking at the informal settlers, we call them squatters or illegals, you know. But those people are there because they are forced to be there. Nobody, I think, would like to see their children grow up in these dilapidated houses, or it's very dirty, they get sick. Now, but how do you make the change? Usually change will only become sustainable if the community becomes part of the solution, or they own the process of the solution. Because, look, these people are survivors.
Yes.
Because, look, they have been there for years. They know how to survive. And they have a dream. And that dream is to have a decent place for their family.
Yes.
The problem is we have a mismatch between their affordability, the capacity to pay, and the product which is made available to them.
That's true.
Yeah.
So everything else in between is unreachable for them. So
Yes.
in a way, part of their dreams die because if they cannot afford it, iisipin nila, naku, wag na lang, kasi hindi ko kaya.
Yes, because hindi kaya. And why is it that it is not affordable? Either the product, which is the house, okay, is sold to a different market, which is beyond them, or their income is so low, or the system, the formal financial system is not designed for them.
Okay, sir.
Okay? And what do I mean by it is not designed for them? For example, if you are an ordinary wage earner, let us just say you earn 10,000 a month, okay? And then the housing stock available there, a very cheap house is, let us say, $1 million, okay? Or 600,000. It's really beyond your capacity to reach that.
That's
and
true.
so what Habitat is doing is try to find a solution in which people can afford it.
Yes.
Either by redesigning the product, by making it more affordable to them, or helping them or structure the financing.
To be able to afford the product.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
sir.
Because you have to look at both the supply and the demand.
Yes.
It's like, look at the cell phone industry. In the beginning, when the cell phones, we said, those big ones.
Napakalaki, no?
Yeah, very
Opo.
expensive. Very few people can afford that. And then all of a sudden, look around, everybody has practically a cell phone.
Regardless of what your position is in life, everybody has a cell
Exactly.
phone. It's true.
And so the telecommunications industry revolutionized the industry by making it affordable to everybody. And so before, it's always postpaid. But now, you have a prepaid. And then you can buy yung tingi-tingi, very
small load.
Yeah, small load.
You can even call it in, right? Yung pasa load by another phone to another.
Exactly.
So, sir, there's also a possibility that if they can do that in telecommunications, we can also do this.
Yes.
I mean, in something like housing, because it's nice how you said $1 million. It's true. That's basically the ballpark figure. So not only informal settlers, but a lot of professionals cannot afford that,
Yes.
like teachers, like people who are, let's say, employees of like banks or the like, will have a hard time
Yes.
affording $1 million. So if Habitat is doing something so that many of these people can fulfill their dreams,
Yeah.
right?
Now, the solution depends on the context,
Okay.
on where it is. Let us say, if it is in a, let us say, highly urbanized city where land is still available and they build either a duplex or a single detached, then what we call the building in stages.
Yeah.
Remember, people ordinarily, when you build your house, unless you buy it from a developer, you build it in stages. You start with a core house, improve it over the years. In fact, it's like a never-ending improvement.
Yes, to what you need. Let's say you start out with one child,
Yes.
and it looks like this. Then your family gets bigger. I build another room, and
Exactly.
then extend until you finally reach the limits of your lot.
Yes, yes. And so, use the same concept. Let us say, so housing is not a product by itself. It is a process. Okay? So, let us say, from a situation in which you don't have a shelter, and then let's develop a program in which maybe you can rent a place, and then part of your rental would be, and it would be somehow subsidized. And everybody in the development world would say that if you cater to the very poor, there must be some form of subsidy into it. And then while they save and living in a decent shelter which they don't own, later on they can move to a house which they buy and they own. So in other words, it's more how you structure, as I've said, how you design your product, how you design your financing so that there's a fit between your consumer and then the product that is made available to them. The consumer, of course, is the family. So it's very difficult now that's why in Habitat we don't come up with a single design.
Okay.
We work backwards. And then, how is that? Okay.
Yes.
We start with the community and then we say, okay, what are your needs? And they would say, usually I need a house with 2 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms. And how much can you afford? Okay?
Oh, I see.
And they say, we can only afford 800, 1,000, 1,500 a month. And then we have our technical people who would say, okay, let's design a house which can be paid over a certain period with only 1,000 to 1,000